Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Steve Mason, and welcome to my channel, The Sports Vlogger. Now, this video is a quick introduction to the actual channel itself, tell you a little bit about why I've decided to start the channel, the driving force behind it, and also give you a little insight as to the type of content I would like to produce. Now, the topic of mental health is on everyone's minds right now, and it has been for quite some time, especially prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, and especially more so since the lockdown started due to COVID-19. Now, I myself, over the last few years, have had my own mental health issues, suffering with depression and anxiety, etc. And that's really the catalyst behind this channel. Mental health isn't something that, like a normal illness, that you wake up one day and you start to feel a bit funny and realise you're ill. It's a gradual process that happens over a long period of time, and you don't even see it happening. You, when you're in that state of mind that you are depressed and you don't want to get off the sofa. For me, it started probably about I want to say it probably started about 4 years ago. My biological dad passed away when I rejoined a company that I'd left a few months previously. I absolutely loved the company. I loved working for them. Great team, great company, great brand, etc. Everything about them was good, but when you have something like that happen to you, and there's a further backstory which I won't go into on this video, but when my biological dad passed away, a couple of days into me returning to the company, I never got the help and sought any sort of counselling, etc. And life kind of started to spiral from there. From when my dad passed, 6 months later, things had got a bit out of control, and I decided to jack in the job that I loved doing and the company that I love working for. And told myself that I wanted to do, sort of expand my horizons, so to speak. Whatever the reasons I gave at the time to justify it was 100% wrong, and I made massive mistakes. In the preceding year, I ended up starting for 4 different companies within a year, and leaving all 4 of them, and actually returned back to the company at the end of 2017. To the company that I really liked, and you would have thought from there a life's lesson would have been to knuckle down and get the treatment that you want, etc., and carry on. But for me, that wasn't the case. I ended up working there for about a year, and then I had a version of a stroke, a bleed in the brain. I think they call it a subarachnoid hemorrhage, and been in hospital for a couple of weeks dealing with it. When I was finally released, they told me that I should have 6 to 8 weeks off, and the truth is I couldn't afford to be off for 6 to 8 weeks. I couldn't afford it. So I returned to work 5 days later, and that was another massive mistake that, looking back now, I shouldn't have made. I wasn't in the right frame of mind. Health wasn't good. And within a few weeks of me coming out of hospital, I jacked it in again. Made another mistake against everybody's advice and some strong warnings. I left, and again that was, a big mistake to make, which shouldn't have been made. So from there, it's funny because the company I actually left to go and work for, and the change of career path that I wanted to, I lasted 2 days in the job, and then, there you are, find yourself back at the job centre. Life from there was again not ideal, and from there I ended up having problems at home because I couldn't hold down a job, or I didn't want to hold down a job, whatever the case may be. My mental health deteriorated quite a bit. Still getting no treatment. Like I said, family life went from bad to worse, and I ended up going into a hostel with my son, separating from my partner and one of my other 2 children. Moved into the hostel. If anyone's ever been in the hostel, you know how bad they are. They're not great places at all. And life was, I'm not going to say tough, it was, at the point where I don't want to say that I thought about doing something stupid, but the thoughts were never far from my mind. It wasn't a good life to be in. I can only, feel bad for my son. But at that point, with depression and forms of addiction as well, I actually decided to actually seek help, and started to try and get my life back together. And from there, a year later, I ended up getting back with the missus just before lockdown. Got back with the missus, and family life, although it hasn't been perfect, it's being worked on, along with myself. And up until a few months ago, or up until 2 or 3 months ago, things were noticeably improving, and ended up back in work, working for an okay company, but then I ended up having some other health issues, which I still have to this day. Kidney stones, which doesn't sound that bad on face value, but when I get the stones that I get are typically dangerous stones. I don't get loads of little stones and they pass. I get big stones that don't move, and I have to have operations and whatnot to have them lasered, etc., which I'm currently waiting for. But when I developed kidney stones a couple of months ago, I ended up spending a lot of time in hospital, and then I've had stents installed, which means that I can't really walk that much because the stents rub and cause problems, and it's not ideal. So, true to form, the company that I started to work for ended up letting me go. So, currently again out of work. So, I thought, do you know what? Now I'm out of work and I'm waiting for treatment. I don't really want to go to work at the moment because of my stent and having further treatment. It doesn't look good when you're applying for jobs. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to take this little bit of time and actually do a bit of self-reflection and, think about what I actually like, what I want to do, what I'm passionate about, what am I good at. And that's where the inspiration for this channel came. For me, being a salesman, as you can probably tell, I love to talk. All of my friends and family tell me I can't shut up, and I love sports, in particular football, but I do watch all types of sports that are on the TV, whether it's athletics, boxing, rugby, not cricket really. Haven't really got into cricket. I've never understood standing on the side of a field waiting for a ball to be hit towards you, maybe. But jokes aside, I love all forms of sports. If it's on the TV, the other half hates it because I love watching it. So what could I do that would, combine me talking and, let me get involved with sports? So I looked at potentially journalism. That would be something I would love to do. But with journalism, you've got to go to college, and because I wasn't particularly great at school, I haven't got terrible high school or secondary school GCSEs, etc. I would have to go back to college, and then I would have to pay to go to university, and that would all take a lot of money, time, and I don't feel that it's something I can do at this stage of my life. So I thought, what could I do? Being that YouTube and social media now, the platforms are massive to provide your own content, I thought, why not create my own little channel? So that was the reason for creating the channel. So what type of content would I like to produce? And what am I going to be able to deliver for you? Well, what I would like to do, ultimately, the grand goal would be to be able to get interviews with sports stars, sportsmen and women, professional, semi-professional, try and get interviews with those and talk about their individual sports. I would like to create debates and cast opinions on sporting activities and topics as they arise. I'd also like to do things like challenges, to provide a bit of funny content for yourselves. I'd like to make it as interactive as possible. So, things like if you're a sports team out there, for example, a football team, if you do training regularly, obviously if you're a professional sports team, you'll be training day in, day out. But if you've got sports drills that you want to invite me to take on some of your players and let me embarrass them, and try and beat you at your own game, or whether you're a boxer, do boxing training and want to see if I can last longer than 60 seconds in a ring with one of your fighters. I would say give me 15 seconds at the moment because I'm very out of shape. But these little challenges, you know, racing around a go-kart track, let me challenge some people on a karting track, or, you know, whether it's golfers closest to pin challenge, any little challenges like that that you think would be fun for any members of your clubs to get involved in. They're the sort of things that I would love to produce for you guys. There's things like, you know, there's big sporting events that are coming up. I'd like to give my opinion on them and create discussions. So if you want to get involved in any way, you know, if you want to contact me to set me a challenge, or if you want to, if you've got a topic that you would like to have a chat about, or if you want to air your views, want to create a debate, then want to come on, I'll be more than happy for you to join me. So that's kind of where my thoughts are in regards to where I would like this channel to go and the reasons behind it. Ultimately, it's about keeping my mind occupied, keeping me out of trouble, and putting me back on the straight and narrow. I don't know where this channel is going to go. I would aim to try and get one video out a week. There's going to be times where, when I am fixed in regards to my kidney stones, I'd like to do a weight loss challenge and maybe do a daily video as to what I'm doing to try and sort of lose weight and show you the progress. So if you want to see how this channel progresses, then please feel free to subscribe. It's free to do. Stick the notifications on so you're aware of the videos as I release them, and join me on my journey. Or if you have, like I say, some content that you would like to discuss, or if there's anything that you want to suggest to me, then please feel free, comment below, and I'll reply to all of the comments. And yeah, that's my aim for where I want to go with it. So yeah, please feel free, like and subscribe. Can't wait to hear from you, and hopefully a couple of videos coming out in the very near future. So again, my name is Steve Mason. This is The Sports Vlogger, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video.